Up. What up? What up, Tommy?
It's popping, man. 1 second.
What?
1 sec. 1 sec. I'm just getting my headphones in because my someone's on the sales call here. 1 sec. 1 sec. Let me get this.
Okay. Hey, what's up? How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Geez, are you in a different home or are you just like in a like is this a different angle?
No, it's a different angle. I'm at the web. How are you?
I'm really good. How have you been? You look happy.
Yeah. Everything's good. Coming
Yeah.
along. I
That's
have a
awesome.
lot of questions. I don't think I've done as well on the LinkedIn as I wanted to. So I have a lot of questions. So for one, how often are you following up with people, like once they do respond, like on LinkedIn, to get them to
Yeah.
sign up for a not consultation, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? How
Yeah.
like what would you say is like effective and not effective to do with that?
Yeah. Okay, so basically you're asking, what I say if they don't reply at all or already like in an existing conversation where you're having a conversation and they suddenly just, like nothing happens at all.
Yeah.
The second one?
The second one. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what I typically say is, number one is, hey, did you get my last message? Really simple. And then I give it a few, yeah, it's so simple, but it's not pushy. And yet it's kind of the perfect balance. And like after that message, I just wait 2 to 3 days to simply not be desperate. Like that's really how you throw people off and make them feel like they're getting sold. So I just wait, like a certain amount of days. So typically 3 days, right? And then after that, I really say something along the lines of like, hey, I know the call is most likely not going to happen, and it's completely okay. Maybe we could like save this for the future. However, I would love to get some feedback as like how I actually could have gotten you on the call, right? And that way you are really kind of like saying, hey, check my above message, because they may have been thinking, yeah, I'm going to book in a call, but they simply forgot. And you're simply already kind of like really low-key concluding that they're not going to do it while they still want to do it, right? And it shows like some sort of abundance. And also a really respectful question as to like, when you're asking for feedback as to, how can I like have improved upon this conversation to actually have gotten you on a meeting, right? So that is typically what I do, just 2 simple messages. I know like you've got some people sending out 10 messages, which is just freaking annoying, but I do really like to keep it simple, just 2 messages. So, hey, give me a last message and like that feedback question.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. That's a lot more simple than I would have thought. So
Yep.
Okay, that's cool. That's fair. That's cool. Hold on,
Yeah.
Okay, so did you see my last message? Okay.
Yep.
Pretty easy. I could do that.
Yeah, it's so simple.
Okay.
And
you would say 2 to 3 different times?
What was that?
You would do like 2 or 3 different times?
I would do like for myself 2, really always 2, because like when I keep things simple, like it becomes easily to repeat always, and like it becomes kind of a habitual thing instead of like always having a different follow-up process. So I always would start with 2 if you want to like have kind of a follow-up, what should I say, habit. And then based on that, how that's going, you can always adjust it to like kind of your own style of how you're holding a conversation.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else with that I should know about?
Really is that simple. I don't try to minimize the amount of information to give you, but like I'm really a guy that likes simplicity because it always allows for clarity. It's easy to make things complex for no reason. We think like the more complex things get, the better it is, but it's actually quite the opposite, which is honestly good in my opinion. Otherwise I'd just be always stressed. So yeah, that's really it when it comes down to follow up for me. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like I haven't I've done a few other closes. Again, it's not digital though, so I need to step up my digital.
Gotta stop closing. Jesus.
I know. So I'm hoping I think
I'm tired of it.
I know. So seriously. No,
Yeah.
so I think I don't know, like I feel like people, I don't do well when they start kind of asking things like, Okay, so I know lead generation, we're obviously doing Instagram ads and Facebook ads, right? Like I even just did it for the spa that we're working with, and I actually ended up pitching them that I wanted a rev share. So right now I'm working on how and what that looks like, really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because for me, we're already off. Like, so I ran this ad myself,
Mhm.
and I got them like 20 leads within 5 days on a $5 a day fucking budget, which is pretty good.
Wow, that's
So
insane.
yeah, so I was like, no, we need a rev share because that alone's pretty good, right?
That's stupid good.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like, I don't know how to portray that to like other businesses though. Like when spas are like asking me for an ROI on like, what's the ROI on the $2,000? You get what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
don't know how to answer that question. And I'm like,
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. That's
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 kind of
that's a
dumb.
thing, and it's a great
That's
leverage point.
yeah,
It's a
I'm
great
like,
leverage point once you have like overview of what kind of ROI you're bringing them. So do you know gohighlevel.com?
no.
Okay, so it's like an all-in-one agency platform. Like, we have, separate online softwares like ClickFunnels, ActiveCampaign, Zapier, all this stuff. And with basically Go High Level, it's like kind of an all-in-one platform. It literally has a pipeline, it has a CRM, it has a funnel building system, super easy to navigate, it's really user-friendly. It has like kind of the Zapier integrations you can like, just leverage when you want to put in automations. So to simplify it, what we do, for instance, with Go High Level is we give our clients a dashboard, and with a dashboard they can actually text people, right? So it's super simple, and it allows for transparency of like the leads that are coming in, and they come from you, the ROI you're providing for them, and you'll basically from that will get more clear in the rev share, and you can actually track exactly what they would owe to you if you would do a rev share contract, right? So I would really say get on gohighlevel.com, start building out a CRM, and really do like what you could do is like on a bi-weekly basis you could okay, yeah. So on a bi-weekly basis, you could basically do you could just like compare the CRM to the leads that have paid them, and really based on the leads that have paid them, you can simply claim your rev share for that bi-weekly basis, right? So we Go High Level, you'll have a CRM, you'll have every lead's name, contact info that you want to basically.
And my headphones just died. So can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just put it on the charger. So basically, Go High Level is a great platform. You can like, what we mainly use it for is really to allow our clients to call up people and also text people, right? Because they can literally log in and text and call people. So that's awesome. But you can also put in a sequence for a lead that comes in, which you can automatically text within like, the first hour of them coming in, or even the first 5 minutes, depending on like what kind of sequence you want to do. So, on day one, we basically text them. After, if they don't respond, we basically leave them a voicemail drop with like, the owner's voice pre-recorded. And basically when they call back to that number that, calls them with the voicemail, like it automatically gets rerouted to the business owner's phone. And that way they can actually get leads calling them, which is awesome, right? And you can do a lot with Go High Level. So I'm not going to make it complex. I'm not going to like overwhelm you with what you can do with it, because it's like a shit ton. Okay. So
What is it?
a nice cup, by the way. Sorry.
Oh, thanks. You saw my little bunny?
Yeah. Are you drinking tea?
No, it's coffee. It's
Oh,
straight.
oh, jeez. Well, it's green tea too. So.
Well, it's 8 in the morning, 8:24 in the morning for me. What time is it for you?
It's 5:24 p.m.
Yeah. Okay. Well, not nighttime, but yeah.
Yeah.
Winding down.
It's bad weather, but it's a good day.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, no, that's helpful. Yeah, because I think I'm kind of in a unique place right now where, like, I'm at that phase where I'm here and I need to get here and I don't know how to do that. Like those questions, I'm like, I don't know, like what are you talking about with ROI? I just know how to get you these leads. You get what I'm saying? Like
I
I'm
get
like,
it. Yeah. You kind of need like an infrastructure, right? So Go
yeah,
High Level is
yeah,
going to help you with that. Or you could just use, existing contacts that you have with the Sakura marketing firm, if that's a possibility. If not, you can simply look for a white label partner, which is really simple in your niche to find one. Because, like it's an easy deliverable leads for, a spa. So when it comes down to that, like the most important thing for you right now, if you want to do rev share, is create an infrastructure to essentially have like a bird's eye view of everything, right? Because they could like say, yeah, we'll give you a rev share, and like you don't have like even an insight as to who has done what of the leads you brought in,
Well, yeah,
right? And it's just gonna
that
be
was one thing where I was like, well, first of all, if we're gonna rev share, I need to make sure that everything is trackable because like
yeah.
it has to be super trackable. But even on the client, because obviously not everyone's gonna want to rev share with me. That's like a client that we've worked with for a long time, and that I had leverage on because I'm like, hey, you're already kind of underpaying me for this, so I need you to kind of meet me
Yeah.
halfway in this way, right? So not obviously everyone's not gonna like rev share with me. I get that that's like kind of a big deal to ask from a business owner, but like even with the other clients, I noticed I don't know how to like show that value. So I have like one that I'm thinking might like it's taken a while, but he seemed to be really engaged in the conversation. I just kind of lost him obviously at the price point, but I felt like he was very engaged. And I kind of feel like I can go back and follow up and kind of close in on that in a different form. But even then, like what I'm saying is I didn't know how to communicate like the ROI and value and stuff like that. And even
Yeah.
like presentations, like do you have presentations for stuff like that or like a resource that I can
I don't have presentations. What I do is I really show, the ROI we've generated for the client itself, right? So basically that's like the only kind of leverage point we have if we do want to propose a rev share contract. But what you could also do to incentivize your clients to move to a rev share contract is to basically, sorry, she's talking really loud, is to basically kind of, one sec. Basically lower the flat fee they're paying you, right? But you do add in the rev share, right? So that way you can incentivize them to do rev share because, like for them, it's like they're winning. But in reality, if your rev share is going to make you way more, then in reality, you're really, winning. So
yeah,
like,
because in that way, like we're invested, right? Like, of course, I
yeah,
want your company to do well. Like, we're getting 20% of that. You know what I mean? Like, of course, or whatever that is. Like,
yeah,
of course, I want you to fucking sell all this shit.
yeah,
Duh.
no,
I
like,
wanted you to sell it before, but now it's even more like, yeah, sell the shit.
yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Okay, but for the people that aren't rev sharing, so what I'm saying is like that's the spa owner that I talked to. I know he had 2 locations, so I pitched at 2,000 for each one, and said lead generation, right? And is it enough for me to explain to people lead generation via Facebook and Instagram ads? Is that enough of an explanation as to what?
Yeah, I mean, it is until they ask, okay, that's awesome, but what is kind of like the process behind it, right? And you have to able to be like, explain that, not in like a complex way, but a really simple way. So, like in my pitch, for instance, I just tell them like, hey, have you ever went on Google and typed in this? Yeah, right? And then you've probably seen ads come on Facebook, right? And they're like, yes, yes, yes. And we just tell them like, based on what you're searching, that's like basically how we target, your ideal customer. And we really like try to keep it as simple as possible so they're not like, okay, what am I actually getting, right? So that is like probably the most important thing here. So you don't have to mention it, but if they ask for it, you need to have like a simple answer ready for it. And just so it makes sense to them as to what they're actually getting. And for us, it's really simple. Like we just say like, hey, yeah, for sure. So we basically have a dashboard where we keep in everything, like, from the leads until like all the conversations you're having with the leads, and even the calls will be recorded, right? And the reason why we do this is to ensure there's transparency between you and I, right? To ensure the relationship is, like on a high level and, the trust isn't being broken. And we can actually do this like on a long-term basis, right? So that's like, we just tell them like, hey, we have a dashboard. This is what's happening within the dashboard, and this is what you can expect.
Dashboard tracks everything, then. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the dashboard is key. Like, Go High Level is kind of like.
Dashboard. I didn't know about the dashboard.
Sorry?
I didn't know about the dashboard.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, Go High Level has really revolutionized the infrastructure of agency owners, their service delivery point. Like, giving people a dashboard they can log into, that's key.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really gonna like help like clients just, every single morning they can just log in and see what's coming in. Like otherwise they'll just have to question, okay, like I'm paying these people $2,000 a month, but what exactly is going on the back end? I have no idea. Like, boom, here's your dashboard. You know what's going on.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else that you think would help that? Because I think that's where, up until the point where I had some people and then it was like, yeah, kind of flailed, I think. Once it came to like the price point and then kind of afterwards, like how are we showing that value of like what's going on here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. That makes a
mean,
lot of sense. So
how would you, so that I know, how would you explain it? Like, so if you were me and you're like, hey, you know, we're Sakura Marketing, we're specializing in bringing spas leads, creating a lead generation system for your spa via Instagram and Facebook ads. Like, would you say anything else with that, or would you like? How would you?
yeah, I can honestly just show you my pitch to
Okay.
like basically tell you, or sorry, show you what we say. So let me just get the right document here. So the main thing is we just have one offer, and that really is, you know, based, like that's what we disclose in really simple format. So it's right here. So what I say once I get to the pitch, and I really say like Siri, like really casual and nonchalant and like kind of like a happy tonality where I just, so what I just say is like, we basically have a way of knowing when someone desperately needs a cosmetic surgery or a certain procedure, right? Because they don't just wake up one day and suddenly want it, right? It's a desire that's built up over time to actually get a surgery. So, you know, what they probably do is they go to Google and start searching for it, right? And what's going to happen then, they're going to start seeing more and more of what they're searching for through ads on Facebook. And I'm pretty sure you had it happen sometime, right? You would go on Google, you'd search for something, and you would see it pop up on Facebook, right? And the reason why I say right so often is just to like make sure they're interactive throughout the whole pitch and they actually agree with what I'm seeing and it makes sense to them. And then what I tell them is like, once they click on that ad though, they actually go through a pre-qualification process. So once they go through that pre-qualification process, we make sure they are a good fit for your clinic, right? So what we do is we got their contact info, you know, that they're in a certain radius within your clinic, and we'll make sure they have a good credit score, right? Because surgeries are quite high ticket and they have no unrealistic expectations and essentially just criteria that be your ideal client, which will like, you know, we'll ask you separate questions on in the onboarding call. Okay. And so once they click on that survey, we're not just going to send it to you, right? You're a busy guy. And then like, this is basically the whole pitch. If you want, I can send it to you. And this is like to disclose what we do for them, like how easy we'll make their life, and really the process of like a stranger to a lead and a lead becoming a client of them. And, you know, we have our old offer disclosed in here. So that's essentially it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So like, okay, so sorry, I'm kind of lost, not lost in this sense, but anyway. So, so my question is, once you get a lead, where does that lead go? Your dashboard, right? Not your
Yeah.
client's dashboard. And then from there, you either have some kind of CRM or some kind of text message campaign, or how is that dealt with? Is that all from obviously the dashboard?
Yeah, so like it depends first of all on your client's needs, right? Because you can do a lot with the platform itself. So pretty much what we do is we just like have a sequence we take them through, right? So when some like a lead signs up, we're not just like taking in anyone that just fills out their name and email. We just make sure we have that in place for sure. Like we have their name and their email, but also after that, we take them like to step 2, which asks them, hey, so what is, you know, like kind of the credit score you're dealing with at the moment? Or simply, are you currently fit to take a surgery? You know, do you have any diseases at the moment? Have you had any diseases? You know, like any questions that really will meet the criteria of the ideal client that, you know, the client you're working with wants, and just making sure it's there. And only those leads get redirected to the CRM. And, you know, if there aren't any, like if people do sign up and it's not a good lead, you just like store them in basically like a separate version of a CRM. So you can just like, you know, keep it organized.
To a different funnel, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think this part is where I'm like, don't even know how to.
So we're also going to make it go high level training.
I don't even know what happens after that. Like, I have no idea.
No, I get it. Like, honestly, I feel like a white level partner would contribute massively to your success with your agency, you know, like you're just going to, because otherwise you're going to have to learn a whole new skill set, which don't get me wrong, it's still great to learn, but it takes time. And if you know, like as an agency owner, you know, obviously you should always focus on generating appointments and taking them. But if you now also have to learn how to deliver the results and create an infrastructure, like it's going to take up so much of your time that you'll lose out on potential deals.
I've been trying it. Like it's been hard for me to, because I mean, in reality, whether they're all like underpaying or not, like in reality with the two companies, I have like 16 clients, right? So I feel like my time's already kind of everywhere. Even the pitching has been a lot harder for me because I feel, I'm getting taken so many different directions. So kind of throwing like the other side of this, I'm like, I don't even know how the other side fucking works, first of all. So yeah, no, I think a white label partner would probably be very good.
Yeah. Like I don't want to say, hey, check this video, but honestly, like I have made a video in the program, which is in week 5. It's just one video. It's not 100 hours of content, just one simple video with a cheat sheet, which literally shows the process I go through to find a white label partner. And I'm actually going to be interviewing a few new one too for the new agency I've got for personal injury attorneys. And it's like a process that you have to take quite serious, because if you take on the wrong individual,
I don't know why my like that's been super annoying, by the way.
Wow, 8 a.m. You're already getting okay. So basically, what I was gonna say is, what was I talking about?
Oh, white label partner.
Oh, exactly. So basically, you have to be careful with the person you're gonna pick, because this person is gonna be responsible.
Yeah,
Sorry?
it's a big deal.
It is a big deal, and that's why we're really careful with who we're gonna be working with. Like they have to be like, we're not expecting like them to be super cheap. Right? Like we're going to be like on a high-end agency, not like someone who takes on like a cheap Filipino. Nothing wrong with Filipinos, but like we don't really want to minimize on expenses if, like the quality is going to be shit at the same time just to have low expenses. Like we really want to kind of like find a balance in between both. And hence why the search, it can be tedious, but it can be done. And hence why just starting a search, putting out job postings on like, the right spots, like Facebook groups, like ClickFunnels, Upwork, Fiverr, and simply putting that out and getting that done and getting people on an interview and really making sure they meet the criteria and actually making sure they show the results live, right?
Yeah,
so
I think that would also obviously help me with my pitching too, because some of it like feels kind of like, well, I'm feeling insecure because first of all, I don't even know how the fuck we're gonna make this happen. So I'm like,
Okay, yeah. Okay, so when you say pitch, you mean like closing someone down?
Yeah. Like, cause I'm like,
Okay, so let's say I am a potential client of yours. Like, all you have to do right now is pitch your offer. Like, how would you go about it?
oh, I'm awful at this part.
Well, I mean, you got to get it done, because this is like this is like the barrier you have to kind of like break through.
Okay.
So
I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Oh my God, you got to do it.
No, I don't want to do it. I'm telling you, it's been a challenge for me for sure. Because I don't like it. I really don't like it. So I have some things to work through for sure. You're like, oh my
Okay, but I mean, if it's something you got to work on, then you either got to role play with me or with someone else, or you honestly got to disclose it really, really clearly in a Google Doc and learn it.
Okay.
Being clear on what you're like, if it doesn't make sense to you, what you're offering, it's impossible to help other people make sense of what you're trying to offer.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know what I'm offering. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so like, okay, but I mean, then it's kind of a miracle. You get 16 clients. Imagine if you had, an offer you could disclose and you know exactly what you're disclosing on,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a great communicator. So, like this shouldn't be too much of a hassle for you. Honestly, you can even model my own pitch and, plug and play your own if it's like a similar result delivery process. But then again, like really the two key principles with just disclosing an offer is being clear on the transformation you're bringing them, and also really what the process is of them getting onboarded with you and what they're getting.
Okay. So what would you say that would be in this case? You said process and transformation. So I know, obviously,
because you are basically getting more. If I ask you, what does your agency do? Like it gets more patients for spots, right?
Yeah.
Okay, a specific set of patients or just like new patients so they can become, like a customer in any form?
I would say massages.
Okay. So massage patients then.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you feel like this is going to resonate, if you would talk to your 16 clients again, is what they're majorly getting massage patients from your agency?
We only have one client that's spa.
Okay, so let's see. I mean, if you like, you also want to make sure, you know, your offer is resonating with people, right? So we could
Right.
also simply say patients, or you could just say like, you know, any kind of patient you want to attract, we make sure it gets done, you know, whether it may be a massage patient or, you know, any other kind of patient, you know, you want it, we got it. And then you basically just, you know, tell them what the infrastructure is. And it's hard to tell what the infrastructure is if there's none, right? So hence why Go High Level will be a great starting point for you to tell them like, hey, you're going to get a dashboard. Why? So there's full transparency on what's coming in and going out. And, you know, we can actually make sure it's a long-term relationship. You know, like people actually value that when you say that instead of, you know, because people always, well, I'm not going to assume what people always think, but majorly I notice that a lot of people just, when they get sold, they think it's a quick transaction and, you know, like no value is being given on the relationship side. But people often really get sold on the relationship side, right? So really talking about transparency and how you're going to take care of that is a huge thing to include in your pitch. And that's always what I do, right? But then again, like you have to individually look at your own offer and see how you can disclose it in a simple way so it makes sense to them.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen some pitches, by the way, but obviously, like, they're not, like, it obviously had to customize a little more for me, you know?
Yeah.
So that's where I think I've been kind of flailing, because I'm like, I don't know. I know the offer. I know the offer is basically, hey, we're going to get you leads via Facebook and Instagram ads for $2,000. I know that.
Yeah.
But I know, like, you're talking about the process and transformation. Like, I don't know that part. I don't know.
So basically, you know, this is simple. So if I were you, I would say, hey, Andrea, so this is what we're going to be doing for your spa, right? So this is your spa currently before working with us, like with our agencies, the current marketing. And what do you want it to look like, you know, after working with us? And they'll tell you exactly what they want. And that is the transformation, kind of like what I'm talking about, which is obviously, you know, varying from individual to individual as to what they want happening with their spa. But asking that question is kind of like asking, you know, this is your current situation. What is your such situation? But it just, you know, like sounds more casual and, you know, more so like in a way that they can actually respond to in a proper way. And it's just not intimidating. So that's what I mean with transformation. And you said something else about the leads. So do you also have like what you can also do is create a guarantee on the leads. So what I can just do real quickly is pull up the contract I use. And what I mean with, you know, one second, let me just pull it up so it's easier.
This is being recorded too, by the way, right?
Yeah, it's recorded.
This one, because this one I like. This one's good value for sure for me, because I think we're on new territory. This is new territory for me, because first of all, like, our clients are not streamlined. Our offers are all over the place. So this is probably the first time where we're going to start being very specific as to what we do, and for who, and what's really included. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, just prepare an agenda next time as to specifically what you want to cover, and we'll just hit it out of the park. So what I really meant with you know, lead guarantees, because people always like hearing there's some sort of guarantee, right? And I'm not directly talking about a money back guarantee or anything along those lines. Really a guarantee about the lead itself, since you are a lead gen marketing agency, right? So what we, for instance, say is we just make sure the lead is received containing valid contact information such as phone number, etc., etc. And you know, the leads are exclusively sold to your spa. The leads will be within a, you know, 3 to 10 mile radius. Anything along those lines that just create a guarantee around the lead, which is easy to deliver on, because all you really have to do is just put in, you know, the like the campaign you're going to be running for them, that the radius that's being advertised in is 3 kilometers around the spa. And then it's kind of an easy guarantee. And people just like hearing there's a guarantee, right?
Yeah, see, that's another thing that I'm like, these are all things that I've been like, well, how can we guarantee? And I'm like, I don't know. So this is the parts where I'm flailing. Like, I'm like, I don't know how to guarantee that for you. I have no idea. I'm sure I sound really dumb, but I'm like, let me ask that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah. I get it completely, honestly. I think it's also big for you if you go through the program if you haven't already. And then, you know, on the other hand, for our future calls, it's great if you make an agenda as to, you know, what kind of aspects you want to improve upon. Because if we can get like bird's eye view pillars, and when I say pillars, I mean like, you know, the outreach system for your agency or the result delivery aspect of your agency, you know, and then we basically go into detail as to like, you know, the infrastructure. Okay, how do we want to like set it up for the clients? right? Do we want to give him a dashboard? Okay, how are we going to set it up and streamline this, right? So that's like the best way to go about all this. To, you know, first of all, because don't get me wrong, this is still a valuable call, but then again, like it's best if you come with an agenda of like, hey, Bas, I want to improve upon the result delivery aspect. How can I do this? Yeah. So if you give me like a specific question, like I'll just give you a very specific answer, and like it just hits, you know, the obstacle out of the park.
And I felt, and I don't know, maybe it changed, but when I saw the agency course, I mean, I saw things like you hire a white label partner, hire Facebook ads strategist. I mean, I saw that, but to me, that doesn't, just my perspective, that doesn't answer like those questions for me. Like that doesn't.
No, I get it. That's why we have coaching, right? So I mean,
yeah. Like I'm like, that doesn't help me understand like what to tell a client when they're being pitched, hey, $1,000. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be like, oh well, we hire a Facebook strategist to do this for you. That doesn't really like
I get it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. You know, that's just like the obvious. Like, yeah, we're hiring a contractor. Okay, cool. Well, that's what everyone does. Hire somebody.
Okay, I get it from your perspective for sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Fair. Okay. Is there anything else that you think would, so I'll get to work on this because I feel like this was definitely like great, good value for me. I mean, I saw all this in the thing, the course, you know, the overviews and stuff, but I obviously, with having to select a specific niche and having to be more specific, there was still things that I'm like, I don't know, you know, the underlying details of how I need to explain this to somebody else as to how this is going to happen. That makes sense?
Makes sense. Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything else that you think, any additional information that you think I should take a look at before?
For the time being, I think this is great. Just honestly looking to go like two main things, just to simplify everything we talked about, like disclose your offer, be clear, you know, like you have a niche, so you know it's spas, and you know what is the offer, and now disclose the offer in like a pitch format. Just literally write it in a Google Doc and say it out loud, record it, and listen back to as how it sounds. Does it make sense? If it makes sense to you, it'll make sense to other people, right? So the pitch, get clear on the offer and disclose it. And the other part is start creating an infrastructure using gohighlevel.com. It's like there's also a free trial, so you don't have to pay for it. So you can literally just, or if you have someone that, you know, takes care of it for you, you can have that person go through it and explain it to you. Or you can just go through it yourself, and, you know, like you can do a lot with it, which is the best part about it. And this is also going to create like that infrastructure starting point for your agency, right? So go high level and offer, like two biggest things at this point. And I also like send you the recording of this call.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, this is a great call.
It was awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like it was definitely awesome because I had more little questions like that, like kind of like, well, we've picked a niche at least. We're doing this, we're doing that. Yeah. So just kind of strengthening up what the other information that needs to go along with that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. Okay, that's cool. And you've been good? How's your move?
It's good, honestly. But as I said, weather is like freaking terrible. But aside of that, move is great. But I'm moving out of this place in like a month and 15 days from now because there's just too much space in here. Like it's just, it's too much. I can't handle it. Like it's too much. It's too much open space. Like there's no, I feel there's no privacy in here for some reason. Like there aren't even
like
doors.
Loft style? It's like a loft style. Is that what it is?
What is that?
Is it like a loft style?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. Like it's beautiful, but like.
Yeah.
I'm not used to it.
Yeah. Like not like a room where you go.
No, exactly. Like and.
Yeah, it's just
like super high.
Yeah, it's just loft style. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's one big area.
Yeah, it's gigantic.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and what about yourself?
You know, you have to put on a good face for these sales calls, and you're kind of like, fuck, you know.
Yeah, I get it. You know, like that's also important. I mean, we can talk about your offer, I would disclose it, but I mean, if you're internally feeling kind of, you know, challenged.
It's like I already feel challenged. I already don't like sales side. I don't like taking the calls, right? So it's
I get it.
It's already kind of like shit, and then you add like, you know, already personally feeling kind of like shit, and you're like, well, this is very exciting, you know, it's just a blast, really, you know.
Yeah. Like, are you able to talk to someone about like the challenges or not?
Yeah, no, I have like my close group of friends for sure. I mean, I feel like I'm doing a lot better now, and I
That's
feel
good.
like I know it's March, and I feel like at least I got my feet wet with what it means to be doing, you know, like these sales calls, to what it's going to take, what where I'm flailing, you know, like
Yeah.
it's me to know where I'm like, yeah, once you get to this point, you start to kind of flail because you don't. The
Yeah.
conversation is fine, the answering the offer is fine. It's when it's, well, how are
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
besides the Instagram, Facebook ads, besides that part, you know, the how after that part is like, well, I
Yeah.
don't know. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I, I just know it's important to be able to be transparent with talking to
yeah,
the, like, if you're having challenges, you can be transparent with anyone about how you feel, like to the core. It's hard to overcome, you know, like that feeling, that's feeling
yeah.
internal.
Yeah, well, I think it's harder, especially, I mean, for me as a business owner, because you want to be positive, you want to be optimistic, right? And you don't want to have people feel like, oh, well, you're kind of just down and out, and you know. So that's, I think, a challenge, because it's like you're trying to put on a good face across the board, and you're like,
Yeah. It's also okay to have the opposite times, you know?
yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, you got to make room for that, even though it's not the most fun thing to do. Like, it's a part of, you know, like just overcoming those challenges you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, just make sure you give them good attention. That's all I'm trying to say. It's important.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure, totally. It should be good now. I mean, this is really helpful. I think it'll build my confidence up a lot more as to how to go about these.
Yeah.
Totally.
No, that's good, honestly. And you know, if there's anything else about mindset, like I would love for you to just drop it. You know, I feel transparency is the biggest thing with entrepreneurs that they lack. I'm not saying you are. Like, I just, when I take a bird's eye view on the whole space from the people I know, they have this kind of like thing that they just, I guess they want to be transparent, but they're afraid of being transparent. And the thing is, if you're not, it's just gonna like keep your challenges, like your challenges you're facing, you know, like mentally inside of you, and it will just spiral. And it kind of like is a burden that's spiraling in your head. It just becomes worse and worse and worse for no reason, just because there's that transparency, like, an, or there's just no individual that, you know, you can talk to about how you're feeling, you know, and
Yeah,
that's really important.
and I think that's hard for me too, because it's like well, with my personal friends, that's obviously different. I'll share away, but like I think even for me, sometimes I'm like, well, are you bitching and complaining, or are you just kind of down? And I think that's kind of the mentality I have with myself, which I don't know if that's
Yeah,
your.
I
I
know
don't.
what you mean. That there it is. Like you're that like creates kind of a fear to be uber transparent. You know,
Because
you
I'm
know
like,
that. Yeah,
because I'll literally ask myself, well, are you just like, do you just wanting to bitch and complain for the day, or are you like gonna get over it? I don't know which you're gonna do today, you know? So,
that's. I mean, I get it, but it's not a question that's gonna help you.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You know, like it's not gonna help. Like, not at all. I mean, I
No, that's how
yeah.
I feel with that. Like, kind of like, okay, well, whatever it is.
Yeah. So honestly, I mean, even with your friends, don't think that. You know.
Well, yeah, with my friends, I'll obviously be like, dude, this shit sucks or whatever, you know. But
Yeah, but really, like, what should I say? Like, if it's like a sad feeling you're feeling, just feel sad and just express sadness, you know, like don't filter it around with some kind of like a courage thing where you try to not sound like a bitch, because you won't sound like a, you know, like you won't sound like that. It's just you having challenges and accepting for how they feel. And you know, time is the best healer when it comes down to that, especially after a secure relationship, you know, like that's long. You can't
yeah,
just, oh, I'm not a bitch, I'm not gonna, like, that's doesn't make sense.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
like I just want to make sure I can give that to you, because like it's a lesson I've learned. I'm not saying I got like a secure relationship and I dealt with it, but I mean, like, I know how, you know, how it can be if you just hold these kind of thoughts to yourself and you try to not cry or you try to not be sad, and it's just hard and it's like in war inside of yourself.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
It's exciting stuff.
Yeah. Right. No, for real though, like it's great to be optimistic, it's great to be happy, but like without sadness there's no happiness, right? So we have to learn to also be able to do the opposite, right? Because with our loved ones, we have like the best experience in our life, but at the same time it creates the opposite. We also have the most sad times in our life, you know?
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah. So like it's kind of like lying to yourself when you're saying, like, not saying you're a liar, but I'm saying like if you're saying, oh, let's stay optimistic, let's stay, like, it's just not gonna work. It's like Tony Robbins says, I don't believe in positive thinking, because it's like going to the garden and saying that like there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. Like, doesn't make sense. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
What random question I have?
Okay.
No, you gotta get off the phone soon. But
No,
don't
worry.
A good text messaging app or good text messaging program besides the CRM? Like, for example, I know one of the restaurants is wanting to get into like texting.
Go High Level has a text messaging two-way texting platform, so that's great. If not, you can just use a separate software for this, which is called Text Magic. So those are two options you can work with. So Text Magic and Go High Level itself, because it has two-way texting.
So Go High Level, you can customize it to each client?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
And you can also take like an agency package, which will allow you to basically give out more dashboards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's you said two-way, so that means like a conversation, not like a mass text.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's it.
Text Magic will be more of a mass text type deal.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, I would still, cause I've never used Text Magic, but since, like you're asking a specific question, I'm like, let me just give raw options. But with Go High Level, I know there's two-way texting, and with Text Magic, I know, like it just has to do with SMS marketing.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, today's been super helpful, Baz. I mean, I know, like, here I go again. I was about to be like, sorry, I'm not trying to complain about my whole.
No, like, honest, like, don't even think you're doing that. Like, I prefer for you to like just say it instead of saying, oh, I'm a bitch, I don't want to talk about it because it's not like this.
It's been kind of like,
okay.
I mean, I have this thing where I feel like, because I also did like a 60-day fitness challenge. So I think with that, part of it's good because it keeps me busy, but I feel like some of it just telling you how I feel, like some of it combined with trying to do this whole new approach with sales and stuff like that, mm-hmm. I constantly feel like I'm not like up to standard. Like it's a kind of a constant feeling of like, I can't even do all this. Like I can't do all these workouts you guys are like telling me to do. Like,
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. All these regimens. And then I'm like looking at like all these, sales thing. And I'm like, fuck, okay. So I feel like everything just kind of feels like, yeah.
No, like this is what I honestly experienced as well when I had my peak performance coach, who I was paying $1,000 a month. And, I had it for 4 months. And then I realized like this dude is, don't get me wrong, he's a great guy, very smart, but this dude is like sending me freaking Bible paragraphs, man, with like supplement information. And, this is too much information to be processed. The thing is, if you want to really see the result of something, you got to keep it simple, because the simpler it, the simpler it is, the more repeatable it can become for yourself and therefore become a habit. And therefore it will drive a result at one point, right? You'll be able to reap the fruits by the consistency of it. So having like all these things in your life, with like the workout, the supplements, the dieting, the, like maybe even the separate cardio chart of days, it will just make things less simple in your life, right? And it will just like defy your focus so drastically that you won't even know what's right and what's wrong. You're just doing something because you're doing it. Doesn't make sense to you why you're doing it, just because it's a fitness challenge, right? Like, oh yeah, it's a fitness challenge, gotta make me fit. But honestly, it doesn't make sense to me, like, as to why I'm doing it, right? If it doesn't make sense to you, you're not really sure what you're doing it for, right? So if this makes it too complex for you, I'd honestly contact the PT or whoever's managing it and say like, hey, this has been kind of complex for me. How can I simplify everything that I'm doing? Because, I'm also running a business on this side.
Yeah, that's kind of what I felt like, because I feel like obviously, and I get a challenge is supposed to count, right? But it's just like, dude, like this is a lot, like 2.5 hours of like fucking, working out. And then that already makes me feel like inadequate, right? Because I'm like, I don't have 2.5 hours to accomplish this every day. This is a lot. I'm like trying to run a business. I'm trying to get into all these new things with it. So it already, that from the get-go already kind of made me feel like, you know, from here to like here with it already.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I canceled my PT too. It just made things less simple in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're gonna like there's this balance you have to create for yourself between discipline and surrender. And when you're leaning too much on the side of discipline, so you know, doing everything you have to do with business, doing everything you have to do with fitness, like you start to feel numb and you start to become unhappy and you start to question why you're doing certain things, right? So you're too disciplined to it because things aren't easy. Like I mean, not easy, but like they're not simple. Yeah. I mean, simple and easy are two different things. So when it's not simple, it just, you know, takes the fun of what you're actually doing. Right. And you're like, why am I actually doing this? And then, you know, for myself, I had that. And then I went way too much to the side of surrender where I even, you know, stopped working out, I stopped eating, you know, what I should be eating. And I started playing video games and like, wow, I'm just way too much on the side of surrender. Don't get me wrong. I got like my creativity portion back, which was awesome. But then I was breaking my own standards. Right. So that's discipline and surrender. So when you're feeling too numb, just honestly, the fitness challenge, I'm not going to decide it for you, but my recommendation is to either remove it or simplify it.
A lot. Like, I'm like, I can't like force myself to be there 6 times a week with, you know, this, you know, you get more results if you do the cardio and if you do the boot camp. And I'm like, that's 2.5 hours a day. That's kind of a lot.
Yeah. that is too much, man. Sorry. Like that's way too much.
When do I pitch? Like, when do I like everything, right? So
yeah, like 2.5 hours is a lot of time. That's so much.
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, cool, my breakup. So I'm like, no, this is just exciting. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it in your. I believe I've even seen on your Facebook that you were working out. But I mean, if that stuff takes 2.5 hours, like questioning that.
Yeah, that's what I like myself. I'm like, I'm gonna do 1 hour a day. And even though they're pushing for a lot more, I'm just gonna like not feel like shit about not being able to do it. Does that make sense? Because that's what's also going on is that I feel kind of like I'm not trying hard enough. So it's kind of creating this like I'm inadequate for this.
Sure. I mean, this also has to do with being too hard on yourself for no reason, you know? I mean, all it really takes to start losing weight is, if that's your goal, like it's to drink water, it's to sleep, you know, get 8 hours of sleep, it's to exercise, and it's, you know, to eat the right foods that don't go above your maintenance calories, you know, so just staying like on your maintenance calories or being in a deficit. If you specifically want to lose weight or if you want to add weight, you go in a circle. Like there's no, like people have in the fitness industry just overcomplicated this stuff so much with all the unnecessary supplements, right? I mean, you're going to get like this 80-20 principle is so true. Like you're going to get 80% of the results from like the basics in life, like, you know, drinking water, sleeping, exercising, and eating the right foods. And that's really what's going to drive results for you. Just as in business, there's natural laws to making it work. You know, like there's a niche, there's an offer, there's a point of difference, there's a messaging. You know, they're simply reaching out to people and selling them. That's the natural law with business. And that's going to like get you 80% of the result that you desire. And the other 20% is like the complexity that people unnecessarily add to it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Simplify. I'm walking away with a lot this conversation.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. And I'm honestly mean with like the biggest key to me being able to be creative and actually help you so well is because, you know, like I understand when to, you know, surrender and I know when to discipline myself. And when I am disciplining myself too much, I lose fun in what I'm doing. And, you know, on the other hand, I just honestly start feeling numb, right? Yeah. Wow, I built this business to be also free, enjoy a video game, you know, enjoy just taking a walk and, you know, just really what I enjoy doing, what kind of like my quote unquote guilty pleasure is. And then, you know, if it's time to, like, I just know what moves the needle in the business and I just do that. And the other stuff, I just, you know, like it's something I built on long term. So like, you know, my program, and then I leave room for, you know, my relationships. I leave room for talking with a friend, talking with my dad, playing a video game, as I said. And then that's like how I balance discipline and surrender, knowing what moves the needle in the business.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Cool. If you are going to be walking away with one thing, it's like simplify everything.
Yeah, simplify. Yeah, that's good. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, have a good evening, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, you too, Andrea. If there's anything, just let me know, honestly.
Okay, sounds good.
Like, not just business, just like also mindset.
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
Okay, awesome. Okay, Andrea, take it easy. See ya.